talked about the xylem is how the water and minerals get from the roots to the leaves. Now, how does sugar get from, you know, those leaves basically? That's where specifically the chloroplast, where that's where the sugar is made. How does it get to different parts of the plant or the tree or whatever we need to talk about? So we talk a little bit about this. They were like, what's the correct order for this? And that's what we're going to talk about here. So let's start here, and you're going to have to fill in some things here. So the phloem consists of long cylindrical cells called sieve tube cells, and accompanying cells called companion cells. Sugar is drawn into the sieve cells by active transport using the companion cells. And as a result, water moves into the sieve cells from the xylem into the sieve cells by osmosis. And we'll talk about the diagram coming up here and the important parts of this as we go. Okay, so those are the first 3 bullets there, yes, that we need to discuss. Good? Okay. Okay. Actually, do I want to? I think I want to skip this. All right, we'll go in order here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take and we're going to label this diagram. Okay. So the one that you have on the right here, we'll talk a little bit about that, but we'll take it in steps here. Okay. And ultimately, I know this sounds kind of confusing, but ultimately we talk a little bit something about the pressure flow theory. Okay. So again, we always think about, before you start writing anything down, we think about high to low. Okay. And it's the same in this case here. So we talk about high pressures to low pressures, basically. Okay. Kind of like the roots. Okay. In some cases with the roots, you know, we have that, we have osmosis, we have the diffusion of water in, we have the active transport of the minerals in. Well, it's kind of the same thing that happens up in the leaves as well, or wherever this sugar is taking place here, okay? So what I want you to put here is this, basically. I don't know if I can erase that, actually. But active transport is going to take... I can't write on there. Active transport is going to take place from basically the sugar here into the companion cell. So I want you to write that down. Active transport. Okay. So don't worry about any of this other stuff here right now. Just put down active transport right here between the source and the companion cell. So this would be your leaf cell here. This is where the sugar is being made, and it's going to be moved into what we call a companion cell. And the companion cell has more sugar in it, and we want to pump even more sugar into it. Okay, so we're going to do active transport. That means a low concentration here and a higher concentration here. Okay, so low concentration of sugar here because it has to be made. Once it's made, we want to get it out of the cell, and we want to get it moving into the other parts of the tree. So this is probably going to be a higher concentration here, so we want to go from low to high, basically. Okay, so active transport for the sugar. Okay. The next thing I think we need to talk about here is down here. We need to, again, okay, as the sugar goes down the phloem here, okay, so sugar is going to come down. We are going to go from an area, again, of low concentration into an area of high concentration. So this would be the roots, for example. We need the roots to grow. We always want the roots to grow so that they continue to grab, because as the tree gets bigger, we need more and more water and minerals, yes? So we want those roots to kind of extend out, et cetera, et cetera. So we want active transport again here, and again, we're going from a low area to a high area. Okay, so make sure you put down active transport here, and of course that would be a high concentration there. Okay, again, we need this roots, as the tree grows and grows, we need roots to kind of keep going, right? We need more water and minerals. That's going to happen if we get more, the more roots we have, the more minerals we can take in, water, okay? So that's what's happening there. While that's taking place, of course, what's happening in the xylem and the phloem together now is the xylem is the movement of water. But of course, if we just tried to move sugar along the phloem here, that's not going to happen. We need some water to do that, right? We need some, you need a liquid kind of thing, right? So again, water kind of comes up this way. And as water comes up, at some point, it's going to cross over into the phloem. Okay, so they're connected, they're right next to each other, and they are connected. So if we need more water, it's going to take some, that's where some of the water goes. Some of the water goes to the leaves, some goes to the guard cells for the stomata, some is going to be used in the phloem thing, and it's going to create this never-ending cycle here, basically. So it's going to go like this, right? Kind of around like this. So as water goes up here, okay, it creates high pressure up here, so that's this part right here. The water is creating high pressure here, high pressure, so write that in there, high pressure. You can also put here that this is osmosis, this is passive, again. So water, the movement of water, passive, osmosis. And that's going to give us, as if it's high pressure here, it's going to force basically it to a lower pressure. So that's the low pressure down here is what this says right here. Low pressure. Okay? Low pressure. And again, it's passive. Okay? And so we have this water that goes up. Okay? And again, some will go to the leaves, some will go to the wherever it needs to go to. Some will circle back around to the phloem and create a high pressure area, and that's going to go to a lower pressure area. Okay, so it's going to create basically a circular kind of idea here, basically. We call this the pressure flow theory. Okay, so based on high pressures to low pressures kind of thing, kind of like a concentration gradient in some cases. Yeah.
Then once like the low pressure happens.
Well, but nonetheless, I think probably take care of that. So pressure flow theory, of course, it says the increased pressure forces the water and sugars through the phloem to the rest of the plant until it reaches a place to stop called the sink cell. Okay, a sink may be a root, what we call a tuber, or another piece of plant like a fruit. So for example, it might stop at an apple. If it's an apple tree, it would go to the fruit, making the fruit. Okay, or a peach tree, even better. So, okay. So again, we see even in the sugar distribution that we have again active transport for the solids or the solutes, in this case sugar. Okay, and again we have water, which is passive transport. So it's kind of the same idea as the root cells, basically. Only this time we're talking about the movement of sugar. Okay, good. Okay. Now, sugars are taken in by other cells using active transport. Okay. Again, we need sugar to. Why do we need sugar? We need sugar for energy, right? Where is that sugar going to get used up? Or where's the main? Where would that sugar be taken? What part of the cell is going to be responsible for doing that, creating the energy? Mitochondria, right? So the mitochondria is going to take in that sugar and convert it to useful energy. Okay. The water diffuses back into the xylem, and as a result, the pressure in the phloem decreases. More sugar and water is then pumped from the area of high pressure at the leaves to the sinks where the low pressure is lower. Okay.